Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Motocrossed. This is the 2001 Disney Channel original. It is an hour and 32 minutes long, and yeah, this is kind of I think this has a bit of a cult classic feel to it. Well, I think from what I've looked at and read here, yeah, there is a bit of a following for this film. It's part of that whole era of extreme sports themed movies that dominated the Disney Channel. If it exists in the sporting world and teenagers can conquer it and show that they can do something that others can't, and they battle against impossible odds or whatever it comes in there, it gets in their way, including being a girl. That handicap that some of us have, half of the world has, being female, and having to compete in a man's sport. Well, guess what? Uh, this is what that story is about. It's basically we start out with the Carter team, the Carson team, in Southern California apparently, and they literally have a motocross track dug into their yard. So day in and day out, their son Andrew rides his motorcycle over berms and hills and turns and everything else, just at top speed, trying to do the best at the insistence of his very dedicated. That's not a strong word. Very insistent father. His father seems very grim. At least in the start of the film, he's a very determined man who wants to see his son succeed in racing, but pushes him pretty hard, and of course pushes him a little too hard at one point where he decides to, hey, let me just race my sister. My parents are gone for the afternoon. Let's race for fun. And I have to practice anyway. Well, of course, he injures himself in the process, and that means his chances, he doesn't break his leg, but he really hurts it. It means that his chances of racing in a big finals kind of thing, and there's always a big finals competition, are pretty much out the window. Now, Andrea, his sister, who's a cheerleader, very pretty, she is she feels a little guilty for this because she's the one who urged him to race and everything else. It's really not her fault at all, but still it's part of her, it's in her head, and of course I think it's also in her dad's head a little bit. She offers up, hey, why can't can't I take his place in this race? Because no, no, not my daughter, not my daughter. And it's assumed that only boys can be in these races. They're the only ones who can do motocross. So, yeah, while Dad heads off to Europe to find a new racer, it's, apparently all the American ranked racers have already been spoken for with other teams and things like that. So he has to go to Europe to find somebody else, and that is picked up later in the film. But in the meantime, since Dad is gone, Andrea decides, well, if you got to be a boy, you got to be a boy. She pretends to be her brother. She cuts her hair to a very short little pixie cut kind of thing, and then in every opportunity hides as much of herself as she can, lowers her voice, and somehow passes as a boy. And without her makeup and everything else, she's at least androgynous. She doesn't come off as terribly masculine, but she doesn't come off as, I hate to even say this, as female, as pretty as she generally looks in every other shot before she decides to make this change. What comes out of this eventually is what you expect. There are no surprises. There are really no surprises in this story. There's a lot of romantic twists and turns in this. Of course, there is a boy that she competes against who is pretty cute, and she kind of falls for, but also becomes best friends with because he believes that she is her brother. Yes. So she changes her figure as much as she can, and without the makeup on and the hair done in a boyish way, she is a man, a boy, a teenager at this point. She's 15, but yeah. Uh, and so she lives this life, and she's competing and everything else. And of course, in this romantic entanglement, is the boy that she likes another girl who is the daughter of one of the team bosses, the motorcycle team bosses, motocross team bosses. He's like a big name, and she's pretty much just a vacuous teen who just loves her cell phone, like her flip phone. It's 2001, and likes shopping at the Galleria, and doesn't like icky boys. He only like motorcycles, So they have nothing in common until, of course, Andrea does everything. Andy, by the way, she goes by the name Andy, which is also short for Andrew. So when she signs up to do this, she's very much herself and also her brother. Uh, so she does everything she can to help her new buddy, who she has a crush on, get the girl he wants. So yeah, I'm not going to tell you how all that works out, but again, it's a movie's 21 years old. Yeah, 21 years old. It's old enough to drink. This movie's 21 years old, and you can pretty much predict how everything is going to turn out from the very beginning. There are kind of little twists and turns. I wasn't expecting the fact that Dad would actually come back with another writer at one point, and he would be an absolute ass. But he's from France, and he. Of course, Dad finds out. You don't keep a secret in a movie, in a story like this, without Mom and Dad finding out. And by the way, Mom finds out pretty early, and she actually helps. She decides to be her daughter's fake son, her pit crew, in a sense. She helps and supports her in secret. Doesn't tell Dad because Dad's off in Europe. But when Dad comes back, obviously finds out, and he's brought this French racer who is a complete jerk, and he is known for being a jerk on the track as well. So, yes, I'm telling you everything about this. If you're really worried about, oh my gosh, I didn't see that, you're going to be you're going to watch this and you're going to be like, I didn't see that coming. Well, stop watching this now and then go watch the movie. I actually recommend this. I did not think I would like this. I did not think that it would be good in any way. Yes, it's not a great movie by any extent, but the acting, all the kids, I mean, for a Disney Channel movie, this is actually really well done. All the kids, even the little brother, who usually when you have little brothers in Disney Channel movies, they're just the obnoxious comic relief. Yeah, he's comic relief. He gets the little zingers in there, but he's the best mechanic in the family, and so he provides a purpose in this, and he's kind of, he sees things that most people he sees and says things most other people are not bothering to say. So yeah, he does serve a purpose story wise and in the family. So it is very much a family film, very much about supporting each other. And you realize Dad also has his reasons for not wanting his daughter to be in motocross. He's not just a chauvinist. He's just not like, oh, women can't do this. Now he has his reasons, and he explains them at one point. But is it a motorcycle? Oh boy, yeah. I don't know if you could hear that, but a motorcycle just went by, not flying through the air, but down the street. Anyway, yeah, it's, like I said, it's completely predictable, just about every step of the way, but it's still entertaining. It's still fun, and it's got tons and tons and tons and tons of motocross footage, and I think it might have been cribbed from ESPN, which features prominently throughout this. There's one of their people is holding a ESPN microphone and interviewing people here and there, and I have a feeling they might actually be a guy from ESPN. I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. Speaking of actual people in real life, Travis Pastrana, known motocross racer, everything else, and he's really really you know he's famous. He's probably the most famous person in this film, but it is his movie debut, basically. So, sorry if I got a little distracted there. My call was coming through at the time, and hopefully that didn't interrupt anything. So, Motocrossed is actually good. I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't believe I'm saying that at all. And by the way, yeah, if you're like, oh, well, look, it's another She's One of the Guys type of movie, if you even know what that movie is, it, this movie works actually on a few different levels. This is unintentionally, maybe intentionally, I don't know, probably unintentionally, a pretty early teen gay romance. Because obviously there's a point where Andrea is into Travis, is that his name? Trevor? No. Riley? Why can't I get anybody's name? Every actor name looks like a character name in this list, so I can't remember. Riley, yeah. Smith plays Dean. His name is Dean. So Dean is the cute boy that she's into. And by the way, normally when you have these kind of competition things, you figure that the rival motorcycle guy would be the jerk, would be the bad guy. But in this case, it's not. It's a romantic interest, and yeah, that's predictable to a certain degree. If he's not going to be the enemy, he's going to be the romantic interest, or both. But yeah, that whole love triangle thing, it works out the way you expect it to. Even the French guy gets involved at some point. Yeah, it all lays out the way you think, but it's still, there's moments where there's a little bit of very strange tension that makes this almost a gay teen romance for a little while, because you could see the attraction there. There's also just sort of a little bit of commentary on masculinity and how guys, don't let the other guys see you do that, and don't hug me because then the guys will talk about that. Like, there's lots of, they're aware of the toxic masculinity in the culture of that they're part of, and they're just like, oh, don't you be affectionate toward me because you're another boy. But yet at the same time, as soon as he meets Andrea as a girl, he's immediately attracted to her, and her face is not any different. Oh, she has makeup on at that point. That's it. Her hair's maybe twisted a little bit differently, but it's still the same length. So, yeah. You have to just go with it. So, and oh, by the way, when they make her, when they change her back to being female, sorry, when they make her female again, they do whatever they can to show the discrepancy, the difference between her playing Andrew and playing Andrea, because they put her in the most snug tops, that just clingy tops that really push her into place, and she's always wearing short skirts, and showing off those legs in as many shots as possible. Yeah, it's yes, it's a choice, and probably after trying to be a boy for so long, maybe the girl would be like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna try to be me. I'm gonna be as feminine as I can now. I mean, that's one way of looking at it, but at the same time, visually for us as viewers, it's a day and night kind of thing, meant to go, yes, these do look. She looks completely different. If they had made it more subtle, it'd be like, how does this guy not know? So, yeah, it's an interesting film. So, But I liked it. There's lots of moments I chuckled out loud. Yes, not because it was a funny scene, but because of some of the just absurdity in it. And I mean, if you're there for the motocross footage, you can watch ESPN and probably see that, but you can see a ton of it here. It's got all the broadcast lines in it. I don't know if you noticed that if you're not like a TV watcher, and it's got that 4:3 aspect ratio, so it's definitely old school TV. It's not widescreen or anything. It's got an old school look to it. But yeah, if you get a chance, seriously check it out. I can't believe I recommend it, but I recommend it. Motocrossed. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
627.
Ooh, 627. 627. I read this completely wrong just now. It's part of the Wild series, and yeah, it's. I thought for sure this was Wild Child. No, it's Wild Chili. Wild Chili. Wild Child. We're gonna watch Wild Child now. It's Wild Chili. The nation of Chile. Chile. Wild Chile. On the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.